A bit over 7 years ago, I got diagnosed with cervical cancer. I knew things were a little bit off, but I thought maybe that I was getting to that lovely age that most women get to, and that's what my GP thought. And then she rang me on a Friday after I had a pap smear. We went and saw a specialist in Dubbo. He did a cone biopsy, and then we went back 2-3 weeks later, and that's when he said, "Oh, you're cured." And my husband Michael sort of went, "Well, that's not what the GP has said." So we had a bit of a discussion, and I suppose if it wasn't for him literally standing up for me, I don't know if I would still be here, because he was sort of saying, if the cancer's here, how do you know it's not everywhere else? I'd had cancer before, and because then when I got diagnosed with this cancer, I was sitting there thinking, statistically speaking, you cannot have 2 primary cancers and live to tell the tale. I was like, well, this is it, my number's up. I got support off friends. My wonderful flying doctor, GP, she was just divine. The hospital, I don't know if there wasn't a lot of follow-up thing, but then afterwards I went to a Relay for Life, and there was all these ladies. I got invited to go as a survivor, and there was all these ladies sitting there, and they were like, "Oh, you had breast cancer. Oh yeah, you must have had breast cancer." And I was like, "Well, actually no, I had cervical cancer. There are other cancers, female cancers." And that's when we got having our cupses and talking that I realised that they had all this wonderful support. My mum's had breast cancer. She had support. A nurse and whatnot that comes around. My mother-in-law as well had breast cancer, and she had the same support. And I was sitting there going, I had no one. I had a hysterectomy, and I had 2 very small children, and husband that was working very long shift work at a mine in the middle of nowhere. So no, I don't think there's enough support out there for women with cervical cancer. Actually having someone who I could talk to, vent to, and just have around, even, it would have been amazing. There was some days that I was just laying in that bed, probably looking back now, severely depressed, not realising, crying, and just to have somebody there, to have a support person, be amazing. A little bit of embarrassment is nothing compared to actually not having a loved one around. It is extremely easily done to put your children before your family, work, everything before your own needs. But it's also incredibly dumb and stupid at the same time, because you only get one life, and to sit there and ignore your signs and symptoms is what's the alternative, really? What is the alternative? I think the Hyundai Help For Kids cervical cancer help in the schools program is unbelievably wonderful. I think it's a good message that kids, both boys and girls, need to learn that this is not an old person's disease. I'll be honest, I was quite shocked at when I have met other survivors, how young they are, and how the word needs to get out that everybody needs to be vaccinated.